All right, 7.2, solve linear systems by substitution. So this is our second method. We'll have one more method that we'll learn tomorrow if all goes as planned. And so using substitution, we're going to first solve one of the equations for one of its variables. So that means like either get x or y by itself. And then I'm going to put this in here. You don't have to do it this way, but it makes it a whole lot easier when possible. Solve for a variable that has a coefficient of 1 or -1. Okay, so what that means is, like, if I had 3x plus y equals 7, I would want to solve for y because it's easier because that y already has a 1 in front. Okay, now that's not always an option, which if I don't, how do I put this? I don't usually use substitution if there's not a variable that's already by itself, unless I'm told I have to. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you about this section that ties back to last section into the next section that we're going to do is that if it specifies a particular method that you have to use and you don't use that method, I'm marking it wrong. Okay, now if you get the answer right, I might give you some credit even if you use the wrong method, but you're going to lose most of the points because you used the wrong method. But some points is better than no points, okay? Now, I may just say solve the linear system using any method, and then you can choose your method. I would never choose graphing personally, but that's just me. The method that's in section 3 is actually my favorite, but anyways, neither here nor there. For the moment, this is what we're doing. So if there's a variable that has just a 1 or a -1, choose that one, makes your life easier. If there's not, then we'll talk about that and what that looks like. Step 2 is to substitute the expression from step 1 into the other equation. Just remember, we have 2 equations with these. And solve for the other variable. And then the final step is to then substitute. Bet you can't tell why this section is called substitution. The value from step 2 into the revised equation from step 1 and solve. And then, I guess I should say ultimately, write your answer as an ordered pair. It's not necessarily step 4, quote unquote, but we'll just call it step 4. Now, just like with graphing, whatever answer you get as your ordered pair, you can plug that into either equation. I would use the original equation if you did any manipulation, and you can see if it works, and you can check it that way as well. I may check 1 or 2 of them today, but I'm not going to check a lot of them. Just for the sake of time, but just to be aware of that. Sometimes you may not even have to do step 1. Step 1 may already be done for you, so also be aware of that. If there's a variable that's already completely by itself, just use it. Don't be like, oh, I need to manipulate this. Like, if they're going to do some of the work for you, just be like, thanks, and keep going. So, jumping into some problems. And if you get super stuck, most people tend to get stuck if they're going to get stuck on the graphing ones. If you get stuck on a graphing problem and you're like, well, I know that she said I have to use graphing, like that's what the instructions say, but you're like, I'm really stuck, I can't figure out where the point is, it had a fraction and I don't know what to do, then use one of the other methods once we've learned them and use that to see if it can help you find the point, and then try to go back and figure out what happened on your graph so that you can do it that way, okay? Use the different methods to your advantage to help you out. Okay, so number 4, the first equation is y equals 2x minus 1, and the second equation is 2x plus y equals 3. So what I see right away is that they've already done step 1 for me. I have a variable by itself. Okay, if it was x equals something, again, that's fine. It doesn't have to be y. This one just happens to be. So I'm going to take this 2x minus 1, and I'm plugging it in for y into the other equation. Okay, now normally I don't draw these little circles and arrows. I'm just doing it on this first one. So I'm taking that, plugging it in, so I have 2x plus, make sure you pay attention to the sign here, because if this was a minus, I would be distributing a negative number. Okay, or if there's a number here, I'd be distributing. So a lot of times when I insert it just for the habit, I'll do parentheses and like 2x minus 1 in this case. So that way if there's any like negative signs or other numbers being multiplied, I don't risk mixing that up and getting the wrong answer just because I plugged in something incorrectly. And then that equals 3, and now I'm going to solve for x. So 2x and 2x is 4x minus 1 equals 3. I'm going to add the 1 over, so I get 4x equals 4. Divide by 4, so x equals 1. So now I'm going to take this x equals 1, and I'm going to plug it in up here to x in the original equation where y is by itself. So that means I'm going to have y equals 2 times 1 minus 1. So that is 2 minus 1, which is just 1. So that's the other value. I'm not done yet, though, because my answer needs to be written as an ordered pair. So my answer is 1, 1. Remember, it's always x and y. This one, obviously, you could mix them up and it would still be okay because they're both the same number. Now, what I would recommend is when you plug in the numbers to check and see if you did it correctly, if you're going to do the checking step, which again, I'm not making you do on these ones, but it is beneficial, is I would check it into the equation that's not manipulated at all. Okay? So that way you don't, you can actually see if it's working. So if I were to check this one, I would have 2 times 1 plus 1 equals 3. Well, that's 2 plus 1 is 3 equals 3, so that's good, and I know that I did it correctly. Okay? Questions about that? So it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. It's kind of like a lot of work for this little answer. So they are going to take up a lot of space, unfortunately. That's just the nature of the problems. 6. 4x minus 7y equals 10, and y equals x minus 7. All right, so do I need to do step 1? No. Nope, it's already done for me, so I'm going to take this x minus 7 and I'm plugging it in for y here. So I've got 4x minus 7. Make sure you put parentheses because I'm going to have a distributive property situation, times x minus 7. equals 10. So I've replaced y in the first equation with x minus 7 from the second equation. I'm going to distribute. So I've got 4x minus 7x plus 49 equals 10. So I've got negative 3x plus 49 equals 10. And then we're just solving equations at this point. So minus 49, I get negative 3x equals negative 39. Divide by negative 3. So x equals 13. So now I'm going to take this x equals 13 and I'm going to plug it into my equation where y is by itself. So I'm going to have y equals 13 minus 7, which is equal to 6. So then we write our answer. It's 13, 6. And again, if I was going to check it, I would probably plug it into the first one just to make sure that I did it correctly. Questions? 10. 2x minus y equals 23. And x minus 9 equals negative 1. So what's different about this one?
There's no y. It's not in the y equals x.
Yeah. So, well, there's two things. Y'all both kind of pointed them out. So the bottom equation doesn't have a y at all. And nothing is like already by itself. So that means I have to do step 1. Now, anytime there's one where I see that there's only one variable in it, I'm always going to use that one. Okay? So in this case, I'm going to use the bottom one. We've been having essentially y by itself. But there's a positive one in front of here, so that already tells me it's going to be easier. But also there's only one variable, so it's actually going to make my life so much easier in this problem. So I'm going to get x by itself here. So I'm going to add the 9 over. So I have x is equal to 8. Well, I already solved for one of the variables. X equals 8. Okay. Now I'm going to plug that into the first equation. So I'm going to have 2 times 8 minus y equals 23. So the only difference really here is now y wasn't by itself, so I kind of have to get it by itself by solving. But that's going to ultimately solve the equation for me, and then I'm going to be done relatively quickly. So 2 times 8 is 16 minus y equals 23. I'm going to subtract 16. I get negative y equals, 7. Divide by negative 1. So y equals negative 7. And then my answer is 8, negative 7. And I would use the first one, the original equation here, if I'm going to check this one, because then I can plug in the x and the y value to ensure that it's right, rather than just plugging in the x value. And if I got the y value wrong, that wouldn't tell me that I'd gotten it wrong, basically. Questions on that one? $12. 2x plus y equals 9, and 4x minus y equals negative 15. This is a problem where I would also use the method that we're going to learn tomorrow because it'd be way easier. But we can't use that yet. You don't know how to do that yet, and these say we have to use substitution. So I need to do step 1. There's no equation where y is just by itself, so I need to get one of them by itself. Do you think I should do that? In why?
Because then you won't have to divide by negative number, you can just subtract the 2x and then you would add them.
Yeah, so the top one would be easier. You can use either of them. You can even solve for x if you want to. I just don't recommend it because it's harder. But I would get the top one by itself, the top y, because it's a positive y. Not that like the negative is difficult, but again, I like easy. I like less work, so I would choose that one. So to get y by itself, I'm going to just do this over here. I'm going to subtract 2x, so we get y equals negative 2x plus 9. So now for y down here, I'm going to plug in negative 2x plus 9. So I have 4x minus, and then in parentheses, because I'm going to have to distribute the negative through, I have negative 2x plus 9 equals negative 15. Before I do anything else, I'm going to distribute this negative sign so that I don't lose it, because it'd be really unfortunate to get a problem wrong just by not distributing a negative sign. So I have 4x plus 2x. If you can go ahead and multiply those together, feel free to do that. I'm just showing all the steps out. And then minus 9 equals negative 15. To save a step of writing, I'm going to go ahead and add this 9 over and combine my like terms at the same time. Okay. So 4x and 2x is 6x. I've gotten rid of the 9's from here. Over here, negative 15 plus 9 is negative 6. Divide by 6. So x is equal to negative 1. And then I'm going to take that, plug it in up here. So I have y equals negative 2 times negative 1 plus 9. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Plus 9 is 11. So my answer then is negative 1, 11. (14) 5x plus 4y equals 32, and 9x minus y equals 33. Not yet. I will let you do one on your own in just a second, but I wanted to show this one first. All right, so again, I don't have a y already or an x already by itself, but I do see that this y just has a negative in front of it, so I would get this one by itself. It'll be easier. Not that I can't do the other ones, but I don't like fractions, so I'm going to try to avoid that. So I'm going to subtract 9x. So I have negative y equals negative 9x plus 33. Now, I divide by the negative 1. I have to do that on all the things. So this is y equals 9x minus 33 now. And then I'm going to take that and plug that in up here. Not going to be the prettiest numbers, but that's okay. 5x plus 4 times 9x minus 33. Again, I've set it up with parentheses so that I know to distribute. Equals 32. So I've got 5x plus distributing 36x minus 132. Yeah, wait. Yeah. Equals 32. So again, I'm going to combine these like terms and add the 132 over all in the same step just to save a step of writing. So I've got 41x equals 164. I'm going to divide by 41. X equals 4. And then I'm going to take that and plug this into this equation up here to solve for y. So I've got y equals 9 times 4 minus 33. So we've got 36 minus 33. So y equals 3. So my answer is 3. So obviously all of our answers are ordered pairs, okay? But the one thing to make sure you pay attention to is to actually write your answer as an ordered pair. Okay, I've been saying it over and over again. I've showed it every time, but still someone is inclined to forget to write their answers as an ordered pair. That's a really good way to lose a point. You could have you could have done all the math right and you forget to write it as an ordered pair and you're going to lose points. So ingrain in your brain for sections 1 through 3, every single answer is written as an ordered pair. Unless it's asking you just to tell if it's a solution or not. Okay? Questions about this one? All right, I would like you to do this last one on your own. Well, I say last one. If we have questions, we might do some more, but most of the rest of them have fractions and stuff in them. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I would not do the fraction ones using this method. I would use the method that we're going to do tomorrow. So I'm not going to do the fraction ones with this method because I don't think it's a wise choice. So, anyways, 20x minus 30y equals negative 50, and x plus 2y equals 1. So take a minute and do this one. Remember, follow your steps and work down and see if you can get all the way to the final answer. I don't want to say there's no reason to get it wrong, but if you're going to get it wrong, you should at least know you got it wrong because you can check your answer and see if you got it right or not. Okay? So work on that for a couple minutes, however long it takes. Do we have an answer yet? What'd you get?
-1, 1.
Did you check it?
No.
Check it. Did anybody else agree with him or have something different?
Yep, I agree.
Did you check it?
Mm.
Did you check it, Addison? Was it right? Just gonna make you question it for a second. All right, so we got x by itself first. So when I did that, I subtracted the 2y, so I had x equals negative 2y plus 1. And then I took that and I plugged that in for x into the first equation. And so when I did that, I ended up with 20 times negative 2y plus 1, and then minus 30y equals negative 50. I distributed to get negative 40y plus 20 minus 30y equals negative 50. I subtracted 20 and combined like terms all in one step, so I got negative 70y equals negative 70. Divided by negative 70 and got a positive 1 for y. Took that and I plugged that into the equation where I had gotten x by itself. And when I did that, I ended up with negative 2 plus 1, which is negative 1. So x equals negative 1. Any questions on these?
No.
So problems then. We're gonna go 3 through 15 odd. Now it is Wednesday, so if you don't finish, obviously it's not homework today. I realized while I was waiting on y'all to finish up the problem that the next two sections actually go together. Normally in Algebra 2, it's like all in one section, but in our book, I forgot because it's like first introducing it, it's in two sections. So this is what I think we're going to do. There's only 6 sections in this chapter. So if on Friday, it looks like there's going to be a substantial amount of snow this weekend, we are going to wait and quiz on, or we're going to quiz on 7-1 to 7-4. If there's not going to be a substantial amount of snow, then we'll probably do 7-1 to 7-3 for a quiz, which is what I would normally do. And then we would have 7-4 to 7-6 on another quiz. Okay, you'll still have 2 quizzes for the chapter. It'll just look a little different. The next 2 sections really go together. The 2 sections at the end, not that they don't go together, but they're different. So, at the earliest, you would have a quiz on Monday, but even then, I'm really not sure about that. I'm thinking about doing it on Tuesday either way because I really want to make sure that we understand this material. Most likely it will be on 7-1 to 7-4 because I have a feeling we're going to get snow. But I'm not a meteorologist, and, we saw what happened last week. So, anyways. Well, I'll keep you posted, but that's just where I'm at right now. I just want to give you a heads up that we're probably looking at Tuesday for a quiz. If we're not in school on Monday, it'll probably be on Wednesday. So just kind of be aware of that. But I want to make sure that we at least have an in-class review day before we would take the quiz. If we get a lot of snow, quiz might not be till next Friday. You never know. I'll believe it when I see it. The forecast changed from 2 to 2.5 feet from yesterday to like less than a foot today. So, that's still a lot of snow. But I believe it when I see it. Like, until it's like actually falling from the sky and landing in my yard, I don't believe it. So, just where I'm at. But anyways, let's take the last bit of time and work on these problems. If you don't finish, like I said, it's not homework, it's Wednesday. But we will be starting the next section tomorrow, and I think that section's easier overall. But for some reason in Algebra 2, the kids thought this section was easier. So take it for what you will.